The idea of prosperity is, for many, synonymous with financial stability and a comfortable material life. However, when we look from a biblical perspective, especially through the lens of Solomon's wisdom, we see that wealth goes far beyond that. In Solomon's view, true prosperity is deeply rooted in principles of justice and wisdom. It is formed from a sincere relationship with God, where financial growth is a consequence, not the ultimate goal. For him, it is not money that brings peace, but the understanding of divine purpose. Many people spend their whole lives seeking security in jobs and material possessions, but still feel empty. This constant feeling of dissatisfaction arises because wealth without purpose is like water that never quenches thirst. God teaches us that true financial security does not come from a work contract, but from the wise application of divine principles in daily life. Thus, the path of prosperity becomes something alive, growing as we understand eternal values. And it is in this vision of faith and spiritual security that true peace is found. Solomon invites us to see wealth differently, not as an end, but as a tool to fulfill the divine purpose in our lives. For him, wealth without wisdom is just a burden, while wealth with wisdom is a means of living fully. Imagine a life where financial decisions are not based on fear or unchecked ambition, but on the certainty of walking hand in hand with God's principles. This understanding frees us from the burden of merely having and brings us closer to the blessing of truly being. This introduction leads us to a reflection that challenges the common concept of stability. It invites us to consider that true prosperity is not accumulated in bank accounts, but cultivated in wise hearts and minds. This is just the beginning of a journey to understand that the wealth that truly matters is not measured in financial values, but in wisdom and purpose. Let's explore more deeply what it means to possess a wealth that lasts and transforms. Redefining the source of wealth. When we think of wealth, the first image that comes to mind usually involves money and material goods. But from the biblical wisdom perspective, the true source of wealth is much deeper and longer lasting. Solomon, in his vast understanding, teaches us that true wealth is a combination of wisdom, justice, and purpose, aligned with God. These are treasures that cannot be corroded by time or life's circumstances. They give genuine value to our existence and our work. Financial wealth, alone, can easily lose its meaning when not accompanied by higher values. How many people accumulate fortunes but still feel dissatisfied and even lost? God's purpose for us is that we seek wealth that stands the test of time, that nourishes the soul and inspires others to grow. Solomon reminds us that this wealth, which includes wisdom and compassion, is what truly transforms and brings us closer to our true purpose. Furthermore, Solomon's wisdom challenges us to understand that true wealth is not only for our benefit, but to be shared and multiplied for the benefit of others. When we live this truth, our focus expands, and we start seeing value in every small decision and action. Thus, personal success becomes part of a greater mission, where we contribute to the lives around us and honor the Creator. This is the true source of wealth, one that reflects God's abundance. These teachings call us to reflect on where we place our hopes and investments. Wealth that comes from God does not depend on market uncertainties or a steady job, but on alignment with divine values. So the next step is to understand how these values transform our view of money itself, allowing it to become a tool of purpose and growth rather than an end in itself. Debunking myths about money and faith. It's common to hear that money is the root of all evil, but this idea is in fact a misinterpretation. What the Bible actually teaches us is that the love of money is the root of all evil. Solomon, with his wisdom, shows us that the problem is not money itself, but the place it occupies in our hearts. When money begins to dominate our thoughts and actions, that's when difficulties arise. On the other hand, when it is seen as a means, not an end, it becomes a powerful tool. Another common myth is the belief that spirituality requires poverty. Many still think that being faithful means being devoid of possessions to maintain pure faith. But if we look at biblical figures like Abraham, Job, and Solomon himself, we see examples of men who, despite their wealth, maintained a deep relationship with God. The problem has never been wealth, but rather what we do with it and how much it reflects our character and values. It is this understanding that frees us from judgment and gives us a balanced perspective. Solomon teaches us that wealth can indeed be a reflection of God's blessings, as long as it is used to honor divine values. The real question is, are we letting money define us, or are we defining the purpose of our money? When money is used for good, it is a blessing. When it becomes the ultimate goal, it turns into a burden. Thus, the key is to use it with discernment, to fulfill a greater purpose and live a more complete and generous life. These reflections lead us to understand that there is no harm in desiring material comfort, but that it must always be aligned with spiritual principles. In this way, we see money as a resource and not the center of our existence. This balance is essential for us to continue on a journey of true prosperity, where our faith remains unshakable, and money serves only as an instrument in the service of good. The importance of financial education from a biblical perspective. In the quest for prosperity, many end up neglecting an essential aspect: financial education. Solomon, with his wisdom, emphasizes that understanding and proper use of resources are fundamental to true prosperity. In Proverbs, he advises us to seek wisdom and understanding above all, as it is through them that we can build a solid foundation for lasting wealth. It's not just about knowing how to make money, but about understanding how to manage it wisely and responsibly. Financial education is essentially a learning process about how to align material resources with our values and responsibilities. It is not enough to earn a lot. We must know how to manage and make every penny work in our favor. As Solomon teaches us, when we lack control over our finances, we are vulnerable, dependent on circumstances and the opinions of others. However, when we learn to handle money, we find the freedom that comes from a well-structured life. The Bible encourages us to acquire knowledge because it is the key to avoiding financial pitfalls that can steer us away from the path of true prosperity. Imagine what it would be like if every financial decision were made with clarity and wisdom, avoiding unnecessary debt and preparing for a stable future. This is the type of financial education Solomon desires for each of us, one that allows us to grow without straying from divine principles. With this clear vision, we realize that mastering finances is a responsibility that directly reflects our commitment to God. The prosperity God desires for us is founded on discipline and preparation. Thus, financial education becomes an essential step in developing the right mindset and moving forward with confidence and faith on our journey to abundance. The entrepreneurial mindset and creating opportunities. Adopting an entrepreneurial mindset means seeing beyond limitations and finding opportunities in every situation. Solomon, known for his wisdom and proactivity, teaches us that true financial independence comes from an active and creative attitude. It's not just about starting a business, but having an entrepreneurial outlook in everything we do. It's about finding ways to use our gifts and talents to create something meaningful and that can generate resources for ourselves and for those around us. This entrepreneurial vision challenges us not to rely exclusively on a single source of income or a single path to achieve stability. Imagine how liberating it would be to know that your finances are not tied to a steady job, but rather to your ability to create and adapt to circumstances. Solomon encourages us to be diligent, to observe the work of the ant, which, without relying on a boss, gathers its provisions. This example inspires us to think outside the box and seek autonomy that comes from our ability to produce. The entrepreneurial mindset also involves the willingness to diversify and invest time and effort in projects that have growth potential. Small ventures, like turning a hobby into extra income, are practical ways to apply this vision. When we are creative and proactive, we not only improve our finances, but also build a life more aligned with our values. The Bible shows us that God blesses the work of our hands, and therefore being entrepreneurial is also an act of faith. With this approach, every opportunity is seen as a chance for growth, whether big or small. Solomon shows us that persistence and courage are essential components of living this financial independence. This is a journey that begins with small decisions and actions, but expands over time. The true entrepreneurial mindset is one that makes us masters of our destiny, opening doors that others might consider closed, overcoming crises and adversities as opportunities for growth. Crises and adversities are an inevitable part of our journey, and Solomon teaches us that it is precisely in these moments that we reveal our true strength. In Proverbs, he states that if we falter in the day of adversity, our strength is small. In other words, difficulties test our resilience and, at the same time, offer us a chance to grow and improve. Viewing crises as learning opportunities allows us to see beyond obstacles, identifying new ways to thrive. Those who face challenges with courage and faith discover skills and strategies that would otherwise remain hidden. Imagine a time when you lost a source of income or faced financial difficulties. It is in these moments that creativity and resilience are put to the test. Many great entrepreneurs and leaders found their way to success amidst crises, learning to reinvent and adapt. It is this spirit of overcoming that Solomon encourages us to cultivate. Each difficulty faced with determination strengthens us for future challenges. The Bible shows us that God uses tribulations to shape our character and broaden our faith, and this also applies to the financial field. Solomon encourages us to look at every difficult moment from a growth perspective, always seeking divine wisdom to navigate storms. Thus, we come to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities for building and strengthening. This vision prepares us to deal with crises with calm and wisdom, knowing that each victory brings us closer to true independence. When we face adversity with our heads held high, we become an example of faith and perseverance, inspiring those around us. Thus, each crisis transforms into a springboard, propelling us to new achievements and a deeper understanding of the wealth that comes from resilience and faith. Persistence as the foundation for lasting financial success. Persistence is one of the most important pillars to achieving financial and personal success, according to Solomon's wisdom. He reminds us that while fleeting desires do not bring great rewards, those who work with dedication and constancy prosper. To persist means to stay focused on our goals, even when circumstances seem unfavorable. It is a silent strength that turns small daily actions into extraordinary results over time. The financial journey demands this continuous commitment, as success rarely arrives overnight. Consider the example of a small plant that, consistently watered, grows and strengthens. Prosperity is similar. It flourishes when nurtured by perseverance and wisdom. Each small achievement along the way is a reminder that dedication bears fruit, even if those fruits take time to appear. Solomon teaches us that this effort is what distinguishes success from stagnation. Staying firm in our goals does not mean ignoring obstacles, but facing them with strategy and patience. Persistence, therefore, is not blind resistance, but the ability to adapt without losing focus. When we face challenges with flexibility and determination, we become better prepared to handle changes and uncertainties. This is the secret to building a solid financial foundation that withstands life's fluctuations and is rooted in unshakable values. Ultimately, persistence is a reflection of faith, believing that our efforts have purpose and that the fruits will come at the right time. Solomon invites us to view each day as an opportunity to grow, and each small step as part of a larger journey. This is the true power of persistence, turning intentions into achievements and dreams into legacies. It is this dedication that guides us, with patience and faith, toward a lasting prosperity aligned with divine values. If you made it this far, you've already taken an important step toward true prosperity. Subscribe to the channel to continue learning how to apply divine wisdom to your financial and spiritual life. And leave a comment saying, "I am prosperous," to declare this blessing upon you. May God bless your journey and multiply your achievements.